Please do not start an Airbnb business in 2025 or sign any leases without watching this video. Today, I'm gonna walk you through the 4 critical things you need to think about before starting your Airbnb business. This video is for anybody who's new to Airbnb, who's new to Airbnb arbitrage, or is already leasing properties and looking to expand. I'll also share how to build a sustainable Airbnb business in today's climate. So first, let's cover the basics. What is Airbnb arbitrage? Airbnb arbitrage is essentially when you go find a landlord with a property, you sign a standard lease with them, and then you take that property and you list it on Airbnb, and you make the difference between the revenue that comes in an Airbnb minus all of your expenses, usually rent, utilities, cleaning, etc. And what's left over is your profit. The main thing here is that instead of purchasing a property, you're leveraging other people's properties to get positive cash flow to scale the business. You probably heard a lot of online gurus position this as a get rich quick scheme, posting screenshots of hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments and showing their exotic lifestyle and whatnot. But what they don't tell you is how expensive it actually is to run this business model. Which leads me to my first critical point. What are your actual expenses with Airbnb? See, many beginners drastically underestimate the number of expenses that are going to be involved when launching and maintaining their first property. And they stack up quickly, and if you're not aware of them, they can quickly eat through your profits. So your main expenses are going to include rent, which is the biggest expense, and this is the key here is with negotiating with the landlord to get the lowest amount of rent possible, or what's called rent concessions, where you get 1 to 2 months free, sometimes even longer, in upfront free rent, typically in exchange for signing a long-term lease. This helps increase your overall profitability, but at the end of the day, if the rent's too high, it's really gonna crush your profits. Second piece is gonna be the cleaning fees. Now this varies by the type of property and city by city and what you can negotiate with cleaning teams. If you just hire some cleaning team online in some big city, you're probably gonna get overcharged and your cleaning fees are gonna probably be over $1,000 per month and quickly rack up. However, if you build a relationship and look for smaller companies and negotiate with them, you can get really good competitive cleaning rates that give you an advantage over other companies out there that lower your overall costs. 3 is going to be utilities. These stack up as well, and I'm talking about Wi-Fi, gas, electric, water, particularly electric and gas, depending on the city you're in and how big the property is, can really vary from as low as $100 per month all the way up to a couple $100 per month. So you need to be aware of that and how old your property is, etc., and consider using things like smart thermostats where you can have the maximum and minimum setting that a guest can set, so you're not using too much electric or too much gas, etc. 4 is going to be the restocking supplies. So restocking supplies usually isn't too much, but if you don't have a proper system in place to have your cleaners properly track how much of each supply you have, where they're hiding it in a place that a guest can't have access, you can get supplies stolen, the cleaners can steal it, you can overpay for these supplies, you need to buy things in bulk. All of this comes into play to lowering your overall restocking costs. And finally, it's miscellaneous costs, maintenance, repairs, guest issues, platform fees. So if Airbnb takes about 3% of your fees, also things are probably going to break on the property eventually. Doorknobs, couches, chairs, things of that nature, where you're gonna have to pay somebody to fix these. If you didn't buy the proper furniture in the first place, it could come to bite you in the butt, especially if you didn't buy any insurance on your couches or whatever that you bought it for. So all of these fees really stack up, and you need to understand how to optimize each of these if you want to be competitive and profitable in today's market with Airbnb. Now, real quick, if you are interested in building your own Airbnb business in 2025, we actually help people like you skip the learning curve and get your first cash flowing property with very little down. You'll get one-on-one guidance from myself and my business partner Vince, weekly private coaching calls, a fully trained virtual assistant to actually run your properties so the business is passive for you, and a complete step-by-step roadmap that has everything you need to go from 0 to 6 figures per month in Airbnb. So if you're serious about building a passive Airbnb business and you don't want to waste all this time trying to figure it out yourself and make sure you have the systems in place, click the link in the description below to book your free strategy session now with my team, and we'll help you walk you through exactly how to reach your goals and what it would look like to work with us. And now the number 2 point is actually where to find Airbnb properties, because you can't just go anywhere and find them anymore. Popular markets like Disney World or New York are oversaturated and there's too high regulations, so you're not going to be able to get in to make any money. Instead, you need to find unique local markets that have limited competition but enough evidence for you to know that there is demand and that you are going to have consistent bookings on your property. Think smaller cities with universities, medical medical centers or like emerging business travel districts. And here's how you find these opportunities. You're gonna leverage a software called AirDNA to analyze the top properties in given markets near you. And you're gonna see what their occupancy rates are, the average daily rate, what the revenue potential is. And then you're gonna search for similar properties like those on hotpads.com, apartments.com, Zillow.com, Craigslist, websites like these. And you're gonna reach out to the landlords then and actually propose your services to them. The third thing to consider is actually how to fund these properties. It's no longer profitable anymore to just use your own cash to buy all this. Furniture costs have gone up, setup costs have gone up. You have to make sure that you're doing it as smart as possible. And that's why the smartest way to fund your Airbnb business in 2025 is actually by leveraging something called 0% interest business credit. So once you form a company in your state, it's called a limited liability company, LLC, you get what's called an EIN number back from the government. You can then use that EIN number to apply for credit cards like Chase and Amex that offer business credit cards, where you get 0% interest on that business credit card for an entire year. So let's just say you get $10,000. You could use that $10,000 to purchase all of the furniture, all of the setup, everything you need to get it up and running, and then use the profits from that Airbnb to pay off the 0% interest debt. Now, what's great about this is you usually get about $800 to $1,000 worth of bonus points once you sign up for the card and you spend at least $5,000 on it. So that's basically $1,000 back in your pocket to offset your costs. Plus, you get anywhere from 2 to 5% cash back on purchases with the business credit card. So as you use these at scale, you get more and more money back. For example, I only pay all of my cleaning costs via business credit cards, so I continually stack up points every single month. The two credit cards I recommend getting are actually the Chase Business Unlimited and the Chase Business Inc. cash cards. Those are the ones that usually give you the highest amount of credit lines, even if you are relatively new to business credit. And finally, number 4 is market shifts. You can no longer just take pictures of properties with your phone, list it up, not care about the amenities, not have a story that your property is telling to people to book it. You need to get specific furniture. You can't get the cheapest furniture. You need to get one step above. You need to have a proper design theme. You need to have amenities like blenders, air fryers, rice cookers, things that maybe other Airbnbs wouldn't have, access to pools, gyms, any amenity that you can do, free parking, that would make your listing more attractive. You also have to have quick response times. You need to be able to respond to your guests like that, leveraging softwares and virtual assistants to do that, so you get 5-star ratings, so you can actually get Superhost and Airbnb and get more organic push from Airbnb itself. And then finally, you need to offer upsells. It's not enough for you to make money on Airbnb just through guest bookings alone. You need to be able to offer upsells like paid parking, early check-in, late checkout, additional deep cleans if they're staying longer, offering them extensions on their stay. So if they're gonna check out Tuesday, saying, hey, if you wanna stay longer than Tuesday, I'll give you a reduced rate if you take these days as well. And then you need to be able to have a way to capture their information so you can retarget them on every single quarter via text message and email to offer them new promotions for them to come back to your property again to stay again. If you do all of these things, you'll have a profitable Airbnb business. But if you ignore these things and you don't have them, you're gonna lose money, or you're just gonna get blown away by competition like me and my students who do all of these things. Remember, Airbnb arbitrage isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a real business that requires careful planning, proper research, and sufficient capital. But when it's done right, it can provide substantial, consistent, passive income. If you found this to be helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more updates on new videos that are gonna help you build your own Airbnb business. And don't forget to book our free strategy call with the link below if you wanna get started in this business right away and want step-by-step guidance and help to do so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.